little bit. We're Facebook Live. Talk a little bit about Bookers and what it's meant to us a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Bookers is actually how me and Jeff actually came together and met. And I saw him doing actually getting his painting signed that he was presenting to Fred and Freddie No. And it actually had a Booker's bourbon in the middle of the painting. And I just happened to be following the Kentucky Bourbon Festival on Facebook. This would happen to be, I believe, 2019. Am I correct, Jeff? When you were doing that?
Yes, you are correct.
Yes, and I actually just happened to find a couple of old dusty Booker's bourbons in a little small old liquor store downtown Atlanta, Georgia. And I actually had I just out of the blue after the next day had messaged him and said, hey man, I just happen to have a couple of full bottles close to that batch number that you have in your painting. And so we just got to talking and just really had so much in common. And over that bottle of old Booker's batch, which we actually have, I think Jeff has it, that we'll show here in just a little while. And I got a few notes on it.
Hey, I want to see if this works. All right. So I'm going to do something. I'm going to. Do you see that? Can you see what I just put up?
Yes, I do.
Is it on your screen? Is that
yes, it is.
That is the painting. So I just wanted to see if that would show up on the feed. I don't know if it does.
Yeah.
But that's the painting.
That's the actual painting right there. And it's the CO4-J or 1-18, I think.
Yep.
Is what's in the painting. And I saw that, in just from a distance in the, through Facebook. And like I say, I just happened to message him and just started talking with him. And we just became very, very close friends over a bottle of Booker's bourbon. And that was in September of 2019. We instantly started messaging and talking with each other. And December 5th, I flew up to Canton, Ohio, brought that bottle of Booker's that I found, and actually became the 7th member of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, and actually did my first podcast ever. Never even knew what podcasting was, but he invited me into his home and his family. And we became brothers from another mother. And we opened up that bottle, and it was so old. And did I know at the time that I probably should have started storing it upside down and getting that cork back wet and moist again, so that because when he opened it up on the podcast, the cork actually broke. And that didn't stop us, did it?
No, it gave me that's the first time I ever got to use my decanter. That was really kind of cool.
Yeah, so we actually had a pour of it, and we all sat around, me, him, and Young Nose, and we actually tasted it, and it was fantastic. One of the best bourbons I think I'd ever tasted at the time, as old as it was. And we really had a good time on that podcast. And that's what Booker's really means. And it's became one of my favorites. it was one of my favorites before that, but and that's why I was always searching out. And when I saw that light white pine wood box, which is so much different from the white cedar wood box, I don't actually have one, but Jeff does have the white box that it came in. I think somewhere handy, don't you?
This is the actual. Oh,
that's close to it, because the actual box that it came to actually has a leather strap on
yeah,
top.
it had a leather strap. It just doesn't.
There it goes. Okay.
It does. This is the actual box that it came in. Yeah. So
I actually, like I said, I was walking around and actually saw that white pine box setting up on top with the Bookers on the side. I was like, oh my God, that is so different. And I actually had to get a ladder and ask the guy for a ladder to climb up on top of his shelves. And he's like, sure, climb up there. And when I did, I actually found 2 bottles of that.
See, and see CO1-A-18, the same one. Let's just do this again. He's got his up, but watch this.
And I got my bottle.
CO1-A-18 right there on the share.
Yeah. And like I had told Jeff, in my message, I said, man, you're not going to believe this, but I've just found 2 bottles. And it was just about a month before that the Kentucky Bourbon Festival was going on when I found those bottles, and I had both of them full. And like I said, I brought one up, opened it up with Jeff, and I left the bottle up there with him. And I actually didn't have this second bottle. I had actually slid that bottle back on top of that shelf.
Yep.
And covered it up with some other old bottles, and went back 10 months later and climbed up there, and it was still there, and purchased it.
Was it 10 months, or was it even further than that? It's almost like
it was right at 10 months, almost a year later.
Yeah, but I think
I went back in October.
Yeah, but weren't you gonna go down there, and then COVID hit, and then it was like another 6-7 more months when you went? Or is that when you started finding other bottles?
And I actually started finding other bottles, but I actually went back 10 months because it was so special and all, and I had to get back there, and I was trying to get back there, and I just couldn't wait any longer. And I went back over there 10 months, and it was October. And actually, me and Sherry went over and took the grandkids over for her grandkids for a couple of for Halloween special over at Stone Mountain Park. And I said, I got to go down here to this liquor store and climb up top there to find it. And sure enough, it was there. And I purchased it. And so that's why mine is much more fuller than what Jeff's is. And which that's what I'm actually having a pour of tonight in honor of Booker's Bourbon and our brotherhood and friendship, which has meant so much more as the years have passed. And I just want to thank you, brother. And I want to thank Booker's Bourbon, Booker No, Fred No, and Freddie No, and for all they do.
Yeah. When it comes Sandy, Fred, we've got
Sandy No too, because she's a good friend of ours too, and part of our group. And she, I'm sure if it wasn't for Sandy, Fred and Freddie couldn't do what they do.
Yeah, that's for sure. And what we did, what Booker, you just covered the start of what Booker's has meant to us, and we're gonna get way more into that as we go along. But let's get the actual
Hey, Scotchy Bourbon Boys, Tiny here to tell you about Log Still Distillery.
Log Still Distillery is forging new roads for generations to come at their old Kentucky home by bringing bourbon back to Gethsemane. Guided by Wally Dant and cousins Lynn and Charles Dant, Log Still is firmly built on faith and family. They fill each bottle with respect while honoring the history of bourbon and their family itself, ever mindful that faith, family, community, and bourbon paved the way for future generations. They invite you to visit them in Gethsemane. Sure, you'll find a lot that's shiny and new, but what you'll feel is something deep and soulful. Visit them also on the web at www.logstilldistillery.com.
This is Alan Bishop, head alchemist at Spirits of French Lick. Be on the lookout for a brand new bottled and bond Solomon Scott rye whiskey. Made from a mash composed of 65% rye, 35% corn, and 5% victory malt. This 5-year-old 100 proof rye whiskey is a throwback to early 1800s style rye whiskeys of the Ohio Valley. Named after the legendary Daisy Spring Mill distillery owner turned moonshiner Solomon Scott of Paoli, Indiana. Remember, drink responsibly and never drink and drive.
Scotchy Bourbon Boys, raisins in hell and making some noise. Yeah, we're the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. We're here to have fun and we hope you enjoy. We're here to have fun, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Woo! Welcome to this special Monday edition of the Scotchy Bourbon Boys podcast. Tonight we are doing Booker's. We right here, that was Kenny Fuller of the Luca Mariano Old Americana Band who did the theme song for us. Thank you so much, Kenny. Check him out on YouTube. Definitely. And then also tonight, we've got Super Nash in the house right here, right next to me on, actually, he's next to me on a Zoom.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Yeah, and he's right there. You guys can't, you're just listening, but it'll be as if he's right next to me, right in the room. We are also Facebook Live. Welcome everybody to that. www.scotchybourbonboys.com for all your Scotchy Bourbon Boys. You know, anything that you need. Glencairns, these wonderful Glencairns, courtesy Martin Duffy of the Glencairn Crystal North American Crystal Glass Company representative. And then also we have t-shirts and Scotchy Bourbon balls. But check that out there. Also check us out on all the social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter, and then also on all the major podcast formats. But whatever you do when you listen, like, comment, subscribe, leave good feedback. It helps us out immensely. The podcast is growing exponentially. It's been hot last couple months, so we are psyched for that. We just got back from Illinois, in Chicago,
yes,
visiting Paul
Letko.
Thank you.
Yes.
So that's just my
and
my
Susan,
brain, right?
And Susan
and Susan Rosenschreder. Thank you. That was a great podcast. You could check that one out.
It sure was. It's so much fun.
There was just
and especially Martin Duffy showing up and joining in with us. What a great time. And also Chris Thompson was CT was there.
Well, hopefully CT joins us. He's going to be running a little late, but he does have Charlie's batch. So tonight, to get right at it, everybody who's drinking along, Dario Wilson is with us tonight. Also, he's drinking on some Bookers.
Dario, all right.
I think I was right on. He had Charlie's batch. Now,
Awesome.
Super Nash also has Charlie's batch right over there.
Yep.
And then I, for some reason, was able to get Charlie or taste Charlie's batch on opening weekend at the kitchen table at the James Beam Distillery with Super Nash and CT, but I haven't been able to pick up a bottle. You two fuckers have already picked up your bottle. I'm out. So all of a sudden I'm looking on the OHLQ website and I'm like, holy shit, there's Bookers. It's at the I'm going to go. And I'm like, I'm getting Bookers. I'm getting Charlie's batch. And I go and I'm like checking out. And it's like, it's the Apprentice batch. It's batch 2. What the shit?
It's and like, I was like, when you called me up and said that, I was like, holy shit. I didn't even know that Apprentice batch was out, because that's what I was complaining about to all these people that I've been looking for it, and all these stores I've been in and looking for it. I was like, I can't believe that only one batch has been out, like around South Carolina and North Carolina and all that, where I've been looking, in Tennessee. And holy shit, all of a sudden you come up and Apprentice batch is out. So now I got to go on the hunt for that.
Yeah, but hunt for another Charlie's batch, because I'm just, it's just.
Hey, I'm still on the look for that too, brother, because I hadn't tasted it yet, in honor of you and tonight. And can't wait. So,
well, yeah. What we're gonna do tonight is going to everybody out there's lucky, because we have Charlie's batch, and hopefully CT will have Charlie's batch when he comes on, and you two can talk about it amongst yourselves. And I have Apprentice batch, so I'll tell everybody what that tastes like. I'm gonna open that. It's a, as Alan Bishop would so lovingly say, we're going to do a fresh crack.
There we go. Actually, I opened mine earlier and fresh cracked it 2 or 3 times, turned it upside down, and distributed that air all throughout the whiskey. So,
so the coolest,
crack, no crack, it don't matter to me.
So in the pregame, we were covering it a little bit, but let's cover it again. It's kind of like Booker's to the Scotchy Bourbon Boys. I think Booker's is one of the reasons. I would have to say, when it comes to the brand, the marketing, the family that makes it, the whole experience for the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, 100% makes Booker's, and I have to say this, I enjoy it's my favorite overall.
Come CT.
Yep, CT's coming in.
All right, welcome CT.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's up?
CT welcome. Is in the house.
Yeah. He's all right.
We're all together. It's like, it's going to be a fun night. It's going to be wild. It's going to be fucking wild, everybody. Just get ready.
Oh, yeah.
Nice shorts there, buddy. You got those shorts. Yeah. Do you think?
Hey.
Oh, yeah. Good thing I didn't wear my. I was going to wear my. What is that? Not. Oh my gosh. Can't even say the color now. So excited you're here.
It's a long night for him. He's already drank half a bottle of Booker's.
Yeah. Well, actually, I've been digging into my old batches here.
Well, but
drink a little bit of that one.
There you go.
Throw that shit out. But I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be drinking right now. This is what I'm drinking right now. I'm pulling it out. This I got the leftovers from. That is CO7-B-7. That is leftover from Bourbon on the Banks.
Thanks.
Wow. I mean, honestly.
You remember that, don't you, CT?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
This pour here, we opened this at Bourbon on the Banks, shared this with Amzie. This was the start of it. And look at what's left in that bottle. And I was so freaking honored to be able when Super Nash, you were Super Nash. She's like, I got that bottle. The rest of this bottle's for you. And I was just like, holy shit. These are the kind of bottles that, I mean, what did you look this one up when we were talking? Did you find out what it was? Or was it?
Yeah, I got that one. The CO7B7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it. Oh God.
All right.
The cork is.
Don't break the cork.
Let me see. Let me get to it here. It's named after creator Booker No, and it is bottled unfiltered at a cask strength at 68 years age at barrels char 4. Oh, wait a second. That's some prehistory. Let's get down to it. All right, this is the Jim Beam
2 months.
Do what?
It's 7 year, 2 months.
Yeah.
And 130.8 proof.
And I got a little bit on the nose and the palate.
You got the year?
Here we go. Yeah, it's at 130.8, right?
Yep.
130.8.
Mm-hmm.
And on the nose, you should be getting like chocolate covered caramels, root beer floats with vanilla ice cream, and the aromas are aggressive at a 65.4, but subtleties and complexities lie hidden beneath the blanket of alcohol vapor. Something vegetal and rooty like sassafras or filet powder. A strong sense of sappy dark oak pervades, but the interplay between the sticky sweet candy notes and the vegetal root notes drive the complexity. After a rest in the glass, a billowing cloud of butterscotch cake icing emerges. Is that kind of what you're getting on the nose, or what are you getting?
Your wing.
Jesus Christ, there was so much going on there. I don't know how you got it all.
That's just some notes that I'm getting from the whiskey Scotch noob.
I get the root beer, definitely the root beer, and the ice cream, maybe the vanilla root beer kind of flavor. And then let's see what it tastes like. I poured myself a healthy pour. This is going to be the kickoff. This is it.
All right.
Holy.
Burns like fire.
No.
It doesn't?
Smooth.
Oh my gosh, smooth.
Vanilla out the yin yang, and the butterscotch for the finish. So you can actually taste the barrel char a little bit, which then mixes with the vanilla and turns it butterscotch.
See,
oh God,
all these notes right here. This is like from like a new opening of the bottle, and that's been resting since last year and everything. So like basically I could just like woo. Hey,
you could. You just
they're no good.
You just did. Woo! Hey. Anyways, all right. So I got this thing I'm going to sip throughout as I mix and match, because tonight's a mix and match night. Now, you and CT, hey, CT, you got Charlie's batch, right?
Yes.
And so does, you guys are going to start. This is batch 1. I have been deprived of Charlie's batch, not tasting it. I did get to taste it with you guys on opening weekend. We were there that Friday app. Did you, so, hey, CT,
one thing before, because you didn't give me a chance to say what I was drinking on.
Yeah.
But CT, I'm drinking on the special bottle that brought us together.
Oh, yeah.
And this is the bottle and the second bottle.
94? What is that?
Yeah, it's actually a 94. Yeah. And this is a CO1 A18 that I I found the 2 bottles in Atlanta, and Jeff's got the original that when I flew up to Ohio, December 2019, we opened up that bottle that he has. And when I became the 7th member and the first time I ever podcasted, in his, there it is.
Yeah.
I saw him getting that painting signed by Fred and Freddie No on the Kentucky Bourbon Festival live. Okay. And he had posted that, and I got to looking at it, and I was like, well, I messaged him like the day after on Facebook through Messenger, and I was like, dude, I just happened to find 2 bottles very similar to what you have, and they're unopened in Atlanta. And that's how we became talking and became friends and brothers. And like I said, that was in September 2019. In December 7th, I flew up there and brought a bottle, opened it up on the podcast for the first time I ever podcasted. And then that second bottle, this one here, that day I bought that one, I actually slid it back on that top shelf up there, went back 10 months later and got this one.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's what I'm drinking on tonight. And that's why Booker's means so much to us, because it sort of brought us together.
Yeah.
But it was also at the time, one of my favorite bourbons when I was getting into bourbon, and because I just loved the flavors of it and what they were doing with it and all, and the batches and the presentation, the boxes and everything, just everything about it. So,
and it's kind of elusive, you only can get it certain batches during the year. And, like Jeff found out, batch 1, Charlie's batch, didn't hit really around Marion and up there. It was hard to find. My bottle of this Charlie's batch came from North Carolina. I was there when Rachel and I went down to see Nick Kalo, and we went to see him. And I said, you know what, there's a little liquor store off here to the side. I'm going to stop. And lo and behold, they had it.
Hey, I have been searching for it ever since it came out. Believe it or not, I just picked up mine just this past Friday in North Carolina. Me and Sherry, when we rode up, we actually found it in Brevard when I stopped in, because I always like to stop in this little town in Brevard, North Carolina, because I know it's one of the smallest little towns and all that. And I stopped in, I asked the guy about it after looking over the shelves and everywhere, and I know right where to go when I go in there. And then I turned around as I was going out after I found another bottle. I got the 291 batch. Well, he says, I asked him, I said, do you have any Bookers? He said, oh man, that come out a week ago up here. And we put it all out on the shelf. But hold on a second. Let me ask the guys, let me get them to check in the back and see if there's any more left. I'll be doggone if he didn't come out with 2 bottles of it. And I tried to talk him out of both of them. Can I get one and let Sherry get the other? He's like, no, there's only 2 left. We got to sort of spread it around, and y'all are together. And it's like, well, Sherry immediately said, well, I'm not married to him. I got a different driver's license.
Oh, let's expound on what you just fucking said.
Yeah.
Everybody, the Scotchy Bourbon Boys, one of our main Scotchy Bourbon Boys, Super Nash, and his it wasn't even a fiance, his life partner are going to be tying the knot on July 1st in Colorado. Congratulations, Super Nash, man.
Thank you.
We love Sherry. I feel like we have a history. Even that first day that you brought that bottle up and what happened.
Yeah, Sherry was with us.
Yes,
with me that very first weekend, and she was like, oh my gosh, that first time she was like, oh my gosh, you don't even know these people. We're flying up there. And like, I know Jeff. I've talked with him, and I said, I already know him. I know him. Trust me, they're good people. He's inviting us into their home. I said, he's almost like my brother already. And she was skeptical at first, but then, just what was it? Minutes afterwards, she knew, like I say, we were brothers, and it was meant to be. But yes, we are getting married, and Sherry, actually, I sent Jeff a picture.
Don't try to spin
it. I know that Tourette starts coming out, don't it?
Wow.
That's you both spin like a freaking washing machine. I'm telling you, it's the wash cycle.
You just do the fast cycle of washing. I got it going right there. I got it.
I got it. I got it. You see.
Oh.
That's better.
That was the best yet.
Hey, practice. I gotta practice. One day I'm gonna keep watching you, CT, and keep practicing. One day I might have it.
I don't feel like it's something worth practicing, but hey, I appreciate it.
Well, you've done
maybe practice. You make it an art.
Maybe practice trying to get in the back of a freaking Mustang convertible. That might be something worth practicing.
You'll never get that one.
God.
Yeah, neither one of us will ever practice that.
Nightmares I had.
Guys, crack your bottle of Charlie's Batch and let's get on to what.
All right, sounds good.
Hello, Charlie. America.
Charlie's.
All right, Bookers, learn more. What is going on? You guys getting that opened?
Oh, it's open.
You getting it in your glass?
Getting a little air.
There was another one. There it is. Let's see. All right, next batch.
Speaking of Jim Beam, did you see, or maybe you guys talked about it, but they are going to be releasing the Hardin's Creek 2nd edition?
Yes, me and Jeff talked about that.
17 year.
Yeah, that's
17 year.
17-year from 3 different warehouses, all the same mash bill, aged in same barrels in 3 different warehouses. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait. And they released
that Hardin's Creek was so good, and people were like, "Oh, it's $150." Well, it is $150, but sometimes you're paying for that experience of something that's been in the barrel for that long.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I got shared screen right here too. Look at that.
Ooh, wow. I still can't read it because I can't read this damn card either.
Charlie's Batch. This
that is so cool.
Barrels from
because I can't read the card,
but I can read the screen. So I'm going.
Okay.
This batch is made up of barrels from production dates that were aged in 4 different warehouses. The breakdown of the barrel storage for Booker's Charlie's batches is followed. 3% came from 5th floor of 7th-story warehouse Q. 17% came from the 4th floor of 7th-story warehouse G. 24% came from the 4th floor of 7th-story warehouse Z. 27% came from the 5th floor of 7th-story warehouse Z, and 29% came from the 5th floor of 7th-story warehouse 1. The color of this batch is pleasant to the eye with an amber color of well-aged bourbon. The nose is balanced with too much wood. The nose is balanced without too much wood and with hints of oak, toasted nuts, and vanilla. This is an aroma that Dad always looked for in his Bookers. The taste is balanced with a slight warmth and has a pleasant finish. This batch came out just the way Dad liked it, and I know he would be happy that I named it for Charlie. I hope you enjoy this batch of Bookers as much as I do. The first release of Booker's Bourbon 23 collection is a Booker's Batch 2301 Charlie's Batch. The batch is named in honor of Charlie Hutchinson's the craftsman behind the signature wooden boxes that each bottle of Booker's bourbon comes in. He is also a longtime family friend and employee of my dad, Booker No. Charlie started his career working at the Booker No distillery. He was quite the storyteller and would entertain others with his tall tales throughout the workday. He was also one to pay close attention to the details, doing something over and over again until it was perfect. Just like Dad was with his whiskey, it's not hard to see why they got on so well. After several years, Charlie left the business to open his own cabinet shop with his brother. Charlie handcrafted the very first Booker's Bourbon wooden box in his garage, and he created every box for us since. He and his brother have expanded their business to create other fine wood products for different brands and projects in the Beam family, including supplying custom furniture to the new Fred B. No distillery, where Booker's Bourbon is now distilled. Charlie still lives near our Booker No distillery and even fishing and vacationing with his family in South Carolina. One of these days, my son Freddie and I hope to get out there to fish with him. Our whole family is so grateful for Charlie, as he was one of the first people to help us make Booker's Bourbon a recognizable brand. Charlie is very worthy recipient of his own batch, and we are excited to honor him. Fred No Beam, 7th generation master distiller. There you go.
Wow.
That's a very cool tribute.
Yeah, and that just right there, just also just that's probably why Booker's brought us together, because like they said Charlie enjoys vacationing with his family down in South Carolina. What a coincidence that is.
Yeah.
Me living down in South Carolina and then, coming up with Booker's and all this stuff. That's just kind of,
Yeah,
I kind of like that.
Me and CT need to get down to South Carolina and go fishing with you, Nash.
Hell yeah.
On your brother's pontoon boat.
Hey, I can definitely put you all on some big fish. We'll go out fishing at night. I mean, we're talking hybrid and striper, 45, 50-pound fish. Yeah.
We'll drink Booker's, not mezcal.
No, yeah. Yeah, definitely Booker's.
Because I don't want CT.
That would be meant to
Nash,
be.
Nash, did you see how he tried to do that like he was going to offend me in some way, shape, or form? That did nothing, because I'm going to still drink the mezcal.
Not on that boat.
Oh, I am too.
I might. Hold on a second. I'll be right back.
As I drink that one, God, that's a good Booker's. What year was that from? The C707, the one I'm drinking on?
94.
94?
Yep.
And then what was the...
Booker was still alive.
Yeah, he was all the way to 2004.
Yep.
Or 2.
Well, I'm just saying he had a very good hand in that distillation that we were drinking.
Jeff, do you see what this bottle is?
Yeah, I do. I know what it is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, Jeff, you have a choice. Either I blend this into this Booker's.
Yeah. You're such a dick.
Which one's it going to be, Jeff? You pick.
What's it going to be?
Put the 43 in there. Fuck the mezcal. And why do you need to make Booker's better? You didn't even taste on Charlie. Oh my God.
Oh, I did. Oh, you want it? Here, I'll add a little more. There we go. Oh, there you go. Now we give it the old swirly swirl. Yeah.
That shield says always delicious. That fucker's going. I'm going to do it. All right. So it's just short spins. Look at that. I got it.
Oh, it accentuates the peanut smell is coming out even more.
Oh,
ooh. Now it's like honey roasted peanuts.
So what is that 43 Cheval?
What do you mean? That's Liquor 43. Didn't you see that podcast with Matt Leisen where you put Liquor 43 in anything and it makes it taste better?
I missed that one.
Oh,
that was during my 6 month of weekend weekend working, and
And that was the 6 months of secret planning your wedding in Colorado with behind our backs.
Really, the best drink this is known for is a little beer. You take this, mix it with heavy whipping cream, and it makes.
Holy shit! It's been so long since I've had little beers.
You want me to have one? I got some heavy whipping cream.
No, I'm good.
Oh, put that shit away.
Hey,
there you go.
Sherry used to bartend.
Oh,
so I met her in high school, but I hadn't seen her in like 20 something years and all that, almost 25 years and all. And then, so when I came back to town and all that, and then all of a sudden I show up at this little bar and she was bartending. So one of her favorite little things was little beers.
They're delicious.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Hey,
always just enough. Let's get back on the Bookers. Charlie's batch. Let's have a big beer here, not a little beer. That's the right glass for this one.
Here, I'm gonna go back to the.
There we go.
Hello, Charlie.
Scotchy Bourbon Boys.
He's got no girls.
So I did drink the Charlie's batch before I introduced it to Liqueur 43, and I like it a lot. It's got it's the vanilla is definitely prominent.
Very sweet, very sweet. Very sweet up front.
Which I think a lot of the Booker stuff, everybody says they're peanut, and I'm like, all right, yeah, there's peanut, but I think a lot of it is vanilla. To me, almost every one I drink, I get a good amount of vanilla, which I like.
Yeah. I always like each one of them.
Yeah, and they're all different. That's the thing, is like people, I feel like sometimes
just a little oak. Always, all of them to me has got just the right amount of oak to it.
Yep, it's not over oak.
Yeah, not over oak, just the right amount.
Okay,
and just a little bit of leather, maybe, but or maybe cigar box on this one, like a sweet cigar.
I always feel that however I drink Bookers, it's the standard for barrel strength. Okay, so when you're drinking another,
always nice hug.
There's sometimes
mouthfeel. Yeah,
you get that peppery, a little bit of nut, and you get it on other barrel strengths, especially cigar blends. On cigar blends, you pick up that Booker-esque note, and I just find that it's like the standard for all barrel strength bourbons. I mean, the fact that they sit at 130. I mean, the one I got here.
This one's 123, 120. Wait a minute, 126.6.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's 125.5. And then
this one's aged 7 years, 1 month, and 8 days.
And this one's 7 years, 1 month, and 2 days. That they're really getting into that. But if you look at this bottle of the Apprentice, look at I almost don't want to open it. Look at how perfect the bee.
Oh, you're going to open it. You are going to open it right here on this podcast.
Yeah. So the Booker's label is fantastic. If you go from where it was, it's always had the label on top of the handwritten note that Booker wrote. Initially, when they were put out, Booker wrote all the labels by hand in his handwriting. I mean,
we had that.
That only lasted for a while. Then Fred wrote the note later when he became, copied the note from Booker. And then also on Little Book, Freddie writes a note too about how much Booker meant to him and what he does, with his blend. But then also it's got this black wax that's on the top. This time this feels a little matte. This one feels a little shiny off that original. And then also you're looking at the Jim Beam B with the ribbon that gets also dipped into the wax. Unlike Maker's Mark, where they don't like the wax to go over certain aspects, this one has the wax going directly over the ribbon. Then you can even see the label has transferred. Now with each batch is named. They used to be just numbered.
Yep.
I don't know how much longer, when you do 4 or 5 batches a year, you're stretching. You're really, after this many years, it starts to stretch out who gets what batches. They might have to have batch 2, kind of thing.
And we had a Sandy batch?
A what?
Sandy.
No, I don't think so. They've had, Kentucky Chew. They've been really creative and different people. I really like that. Now, one of my favorite bookers was,
they've had Fred's batch, but they don't have a Freddie batch, and they hadn't had a Sandy batch. So
the Fred batch I have.
Yeah, I know. We know.
Yeah,
we know, fucker.
It's right.
Don't rub it in.
Yeah,
and it's signed too.
You know what you know what it's getting?
Oh, I won't open it to keep it away from that.
I will infiltrate your lair.
There you go. Sounds like a mission to me.
All right, so I'm gonna quick.
Hey, I got a little bit on the Booker's rare unfiltered bourbon. Booker's bourbon is a rare barrel strength bourbon, bottled, uncut, and unfiltered. But you obviously know a good bit about bourbon because you don't end up here by mistake. We don't advertise, we don't social media, we just do bourbon. We focus on the sweet spot, the center of the rack house, where the temperature and humidity stars align to create the deepest and most intense flavors. Once it's aged to perfection, which always varies, the liquid is bottled, uncut, and unfiltered. We don't add, we don't water down, and we don't apologize for it. For some people, it may be too much, but for true bourbon fans, it's probably the best ever. And Fred, make sure they don't mess with my Bookers. That was Booker's one request to his son at his retirement.
Yep. That's the second time tonight. So we are talking about the Apprentice. So what do you guys think as far as Charlie's batch, compared to last year? Do you think it's gone up a notch? No, another thing is that the original Bookers had corks, and now they've got the fake cork in there too, which is kind of good because if you keep a batch for 15, 20 years, it's not going to break off. So you kind of know a little bit about that, don't you, Joe? Tiny. Just a little off that first one.
I think that to say that one is better than the other is kind of not doing it any justice. I think that the thing about all the Booker's batches, like I've had so many different ones, they all have some similarities, yes, because the mash bill is what it is, but they all are different and in good ways. Like you're going to like a certain profile better than another person, but for the price point at $89 to $99, depending on where you get it, it is always a great bottle that comes, in the other boxes, but in people, I hear it on social media, they're like, oh, the box, but it's still cool. It's still neat. And the juice is good. And it's 7 years plus old.
And those boxes are handmade.
Yeah. It's totally cool.
Yeah. I mean, him and his son still make all the boxes. I guarantee you they probably made the stands for the Knob Creek 18.
Right. So the thing I will say is this is I don't know that I've ever had a Booker's that I didn't like. They're all good in their own way.
The batch that I didn't like the most out of all the times was the Boston batch. The Boston batch, I believe, was in the middle of 2020 during the pandemic. And actually that year, the year before, they had put out 5, and they put that Boston's batch out. And all of a sudden there was a delay between that and Pigskin, which came out in November. And honestly, and that was it for the year. There was only 4. And when I was talking with Fred about that, is that he felt they were getting too new. the quality of Booker's was being compromised.
I was there
He backed it
during that conversation. Yeah.
Yeah, he said he's backing it off. He's just like,
Yeah.
now
Because they were
back it
pulling the barrels, and he was like, they were trying to force him to pull the barrels too soon to make these batches. And, you know, he got to where he actually said is, look, the quality of what Booker wanted in Booker's bourbon is going down. And that's why they stopped it at 4 that year. And he refused. Well, you know, he put it to the board and said, look, you know, we need to stop it here. You know, let these barrels age some more at where they're at and all that. And then, you know, we'll create some more batches next year, is basically what he was saying and telling us. And that's where it went. And I'm so glad.
Since then, most of it's been like,
oh yeah,
really good, just different profile.
Kitchen
yeah, absolutely.
But that Boston batch, actually, I remember that sat in the shelves on the shelf for a good 6-8 months before it sold out.
Yeah.
And Booker's has just recently became an allocation, because before last year, sometime last year, before the second batch of last year of 2022, you would have a week to pick up Booker's. It would hit the shelf, it would sit on the shelf, and you'd have a whole week that you could pick it up. You didn't have to wait in line for it. Now it's a morning release, and
you better get it.
Well, I was lucky. They had there was enough that they were putting out. I think the one place that I went to that it was no longer there was released on a Friday, and I was there on Sunday, and they had 18 cases, but they were all gone. And then I went to a different place that still had a couple cases left, but that showed on the website that it was there. But it still comes down to, with Booker's now, people want Booker's. They know how good it is. It's in the bourbon, what would you say? The bourbon boom group connoisseurs of purchasing and getting it. So you really got to stay on top. Like the fact that I didn't get Charlie's batch. You know, it's like you can't, you know, you got to work hard to get it. Whereas initially, you know, it was the first ever expensive bourbon that I ever bought. And
Mine too.
I didn't understand Booker's. This is before I met, you know, it's before I met Super Nash. It was probably, it was I believe Kitchen Table was 2018, correct? Yes. And it had hit the shelves, and I had seen it, but it was, you know, $85. And I was like, that's a lot to spend at the time. That's a lot to spend on a bourbon. When you're just getting into this, the most you've ever spent, you know, you thought $32 was expensive. Now you're looking at something at $85. Well, I didn't pull the trigger when I saw it. So I didn't also know that they were batches and they disappeared. So I started looking for it again because I wanted Kitchen Table, because I had done some research, and Kitchen Table with Booker, around the kitchen table, the nose and everything, I wanted that. And so I ended up getting it in Wisconsin. And I remember the day that I bought it, I was able to find it on the shelf. I got it. It was not in a box. They sold it out. That was a bottle outside the box. I don't know how that just was it. It was $79 in Wisconsin because they don't have the taxes of Ohio. And then I bought it. I was so proud. I posted it on social media. I did the car post, you know, and everything. So that really was the first bourbon that was inspiring for me, that I loved, and it was barrel strength. Because I
did a crotch shot, did you?
No, you read about.
You said car post.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
But you read about barrel strength, and at the time it was the only unfiltered, closest thing you could get to drinking what the master distillers and the blenders were pulling out of the barrels. It was, everything else was, it would be barrel strength, but it was filtered, or it was barrel strength. This is unfiltered, straight from the barrel. It's got pieces in it and everything. So I really wanted it. So that's what inspired me to do that painting. you know, and then that led to all this. Plus, it led to a good long. Now I think it's a 4-year friendship with Sandy No and Fred and Freddie, and getting down there and having some of the most amazing experiences, you know, that you can have. And, you know, just think what Carl never would have had his shirtless body signed, or, you know, stuff like that. I mean, there's so many things. And Sandy has been such a good friend. We haven't been down there to see her. And I'm actually the one
I
thing.
know. We miss you, Sandy.
Yes. Cheers, Sandy. The one thing left is I'm planning a weekend. I'll let you guys know, to get to Bardstown and see Sandy, do the vacation thing with the beam aspect up front and center, and then kind of you know, then see Randy and Stacy and everything before Kentucky Bourbon Festival. I want to do that, but I definitely am missing Sandy. I talk to her from time to time. And, you know, some amazing things just keep happening at that distillery. And I really think we should concentrate, when we go to Kentucky Bourbon Festival this year, to have Fred and Freddie and Sandy on the podcast for the festival. That's the ones that we should really contact. You know, we haven't.
Absolutely.
We had Sandy on the podcast, but not Fred or Freddie directly. So that's what I want to do. But
I agree.
So I'll quickly get into this one. I got a screen share. Let's see if I can do it. It's right here. Come on. All right. So this is the Apprentice batch. You guys can see that?
Yes, we can.
All right. This batch is made up of barrels that were aged in 6 different warehouses. The breakdown of the barrel storage for Booker's Apprentice batch is as follows: 7% 7th floor, 9-story warehouse H, 9% 4th floor, 7-story warehouse W, 11% 4th floor, 7-story warehouse 1, 18% 4th floor, 7-story warehouse O, 19 4th floor of 9-story warehouse G, and 36% came from the 4th floor of 7-story warehouse Z. Not as much warehouse Z in this one. This one is 125.5 proof, 7 years, 1 month, 2 days. It is called the Apprentice Batch. The second release of Booker's Bourbon 23 collection is Booker's Batch 2302 Apprentice Batch. This batch pays homage to early days of my dad, Booker No's career. Far before he was the 6th-generation master distiller, when he first learned the art of making bourbon under the guidance of his cousin Carl Beam. When Booker started working at the Jim Beam Distillery in Claremont in 1952, Carl became like a mentor to him. Back then, they didn't have official titles like Master Distiller, but everyone knew Carl was in charge. He didn't put it up with any foolishness and made sure Booker was set straight. But even if Booker did mess around sometimes, he was a fast learner and was ready to be put to work, and that quickly got him Carl's approval. 2 years after Booker started, we purchased a distillery in Boston, Kentucky to increase our production capabilities. Carl and Booker worked closely together to get it up and running, and eventually Carl handed the reins over to Booker. This is where he was able to experiment and master the bourbon making processes, and later on the location was renamed the Booker No Distillery. Carl showed Booker the ropes at the distillery, but from there his approach was sink or swim, and it was just the push Booker needed. His apprenticeship under Carl helped him become the master distiller and legendary innovator we all remember him as today. Fred No, Beam Fat, 7th-generation master distiller. There you go. That's that one. It's interesting where they come from and what floors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now this one, I love the nose because it's a brown sugar. It's toasted brown sugar on this one. It's really sweet. It's probably one of the better noses. Not a lot of ethanol and just a toasted brown sugar. Wow. And there was a little vanilla right there. All right, let's see what it tastes like.
Nash, you didn't get this bottle yet, have you?
No, I hadn't
Neither
seen
have I. I haven't seen it
it. I
yet.
hadn't seen it. Yeah,
That's amazing. It's really,
Yeah, like I say, I just got lucky and got this one just Friday.
I'm telling you, honestly, it's the sweetest Booker's on the front palate I've ever tasted. It hits you, and it's sugar, like a sugar cookie.
CT, you do know that I've got every Booker's batch all the way back to 2015.
Yeah, I remember you having way more than any human being needed to have, but
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But that's the cool thing.
yes.
It's not just for me to sit there and drink.
No, and you share them like, oh my God,
Yes, yeah, yeah.
yes.
This is
That's what it's all about for me. Is anytime anybody ever wants something I have, they're more than welcome to get a sample. I mean, even ship to them, or if they come into my house, they're more than welcome to drink anything that's on my shelf. I mean, all the way to the Pappy, to the William LaRue Weller, anything that I got, because that's what it's all about to me. Is sharing is caring, and tasting bourbon, and just putting it out there to people don't always have access, and
No,
I do, and I get hold of it, and that's what
like about
the fun of it for me is sharing it and then seeing the look on their faces after they taste it.
according to like the OHLQ website, half of Ohio can't get bourbon, and they're so we'll just send them to
right.
send them
Send them to my house. Oh my God. Tomorrow morning I'm gonna have people knocking on my door. Hey, we saw your podcast last
Wait a
night.
minute. Nash, they'll be sitting in chairs in your front yard.
Yeah.
It'll be the Nash way, the Nash line.
Hey, and then I'm gonna do like Heaven Hill. I'm gonna come out at 9 o'clock and I'm gonna start giving out tickets. and then flying.
Nash, you said something there that is good to touch on, and that is what bourbon really does for all of us, and that's bring us together, friendships, all that stuff. A friend of mine just this last about a week ago is getting ready to be he goes on a mission over to Hawaii, where he'll be stationed for about 6 months. And so he came over with some other friends, and I'm like, you know what, we're going to crack a special bottle and just to do that for you, and so we can remember this time. And so I had a bottle of William Heaven Hill 15, the bottle that we drank that you bought us tours of. You remember that?
Yes,
and
I do.
That bottle is absolutely delicious. And so we cracked it and drank it. And again, this is somebody who doesn't drink a ton of bourbon, so he has no idea of the values of these things. He just enjoys them. But he found out how much it was, and then he was like, "What? We can't do this. What are you doing?" And I'm like, "But this is what we're doing. This is why it's here." So
exactly.
Definitely, I hope people understand that. Enjoy it with your friends and family, and make memories with it. Don't collect it just to collect it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head right there. And that's what it's for right there to me. And oh my gosh. The name will lose me right now, but that's what it's about, just making memories and enjoying that special pour. You don't have to save it, because you save it, you might not be here to open it up.
No, I think that's when you watch the show with Freddie at Buffalo Trace, and he talks about his dad.
Freddie, yeah. He's the one that inspired me to do what I do.
If you haven't watched the movie Neat, in which you can watch it, I think on Fubi or something like that. It's one of those, you can just Google search it.
Neat is on Netflix.
Okay, but watch that, because
but
I'm going to tell you what, when you watch that show, and at the end of it, and Freddie's talking about how, things, and I'm not going to spoil it for those who haven't watched it, but when you watch that, you will have a new appreciation for opening every bottle you have. I don't care if you paid $50 for it or $500. Find a reason to enjoy it with people, to create memories. That's what it's about.
Well, that's
Exactly.
that's just what bourbon is just straight up about. It's about sharing something special with other people, and then when you get these unique bottles and you share them on life moments or good times, it makes those times even better because you're sipping on it. You're not getting shit-faced drunk, but you're sipping on it and enjoying it, relaxing, partying, whatever, and that's what it's all about. So, all right.
Well, that's exactly what changed my whole world in thinking about bourbon and whiskey years ago was you can sip and taste and enjoy and pull out all these different flavors. You don't have to get drunk and pound shots back, like you did in the young days.
No.
And you don't have to get drunk to enjoy it. But a new meaning of it was opening up bottles like I did with you, Jeff.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what brought us together.
That's how friendships are formed. Enjoying it.
And that's what it's all about.
I mean, and we just keep going out and having these experiences based on freaking bourbon. It don't matter. It's made everywhere in the United States. There's a place. I mean, it was cool as shit hanging out with Susan and Paul and Martin and you guys. I mean, we had a great time, wouldn't you say?
CT, like I say, ever since I've met you, like I say,
we have a blast.
Yes, exactly. And each time I try, like I say, to bring a bottle, to open up because it's just, that's what it's about, to open it up and share, something new.
Then we
have a new experience, and then wow, it turns into something more. And sometimes
then we play
something that I don't want filmed or video.
We plan this great weekend, and then you go off and get married to skip it. I mean, God, what the hell? I was giving them shit today.
I'm sorry. Hey, I know. I'm sorry. I it's like I told Sherry. I said, you sent me up there to Chicago, and I couldn't tell these guys. I wanted to bust and tell them the whole time I was getting married.
Nash got drunk and didn't tell us. That's pretty good.
He's got a poker face, guys. I'm telling you.
I know.
Hey, so question for you is, and people listening probably want to hear that is, so what is the bottle that you're going to open that's a special bottle to you for your celebration?
I will tell you. It is a bottle of Michter's that me and Sherry bottled at Michter's Distillery in 2019.
Awesome. Right
before we met Jeff.
Yeah.
We did the bottle your own bourbon, and it was at Michter's Distillery, and it's the Michter's barrel strength rye. And I've got it in my safe. We've had it in our safe, my safe ever since, and we got a couple of mini Glencairn Michter's glasses, and we put our label on it and everything, and all, where we signed it, and that's what we're going to open up and for our wedding day.
Good for you.
That's great. I just inside joke. Just let's hope we make it there, right?
Yeah,
because that's the same bottle. That's the same damn bottle. It's really cool. I was going to ask you about that last night. I knew that was your bottle. You've been saving that. There's been the road.
I have not opened it or touched it. It's been in the box and everything. So
the way, yes. All right, everybody. So I'm going to finish up on the Apprentice. Probably one of the better. It drinks just as good as that. CO7 dash, what is it? B-7? Is that what it
CO
7 dash B-7?
The CO7 dash B dash 1.
7.
Hey, I just drank the Kentucky tea. That's pretty good.
You're going off what you were drinking. I'm talking about what you left me.
Yeah.
That one was B7. Anyways, this was
C01A-18.
Now that's the one that I just got an empty bottle of. Okay. So I remember that being good, but I can't compare it. But the C07-B-7.
The papers everywhere, so I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway.
You got to read your bottle.
I'm not. This one here, yeah. The Apprentice, the sweetness on it is the sweetest that I've experienced, and I love this bottle. So it's brown sugar nose, brown sugar. It's not too spicy. It gives you the most awesome hug and finishes up with creme brulee.
Oh wow!
And it is fan-freaking-tastic. That's like vanilla pudding, caramelized sugar, which is like a brown sugar caramel thing. Very, very good bottle. I would highly recommend this one. This is one of my the sweetness on this tonight, my way my palate was damn good. So all right, so I wanted to bring up one more thing about tomorrow night.
We gotta tell about ours. So on ours, the 2023-01, the Charlie's batch.
Mm-hmm.
Very sweet, lots of vanilla to me.
Vanilla was the dominant.
Yeah, very dominant vanilla, very little oak, maybe a little touch of cigar batch to me.
I agree. Sweet tobacco.
Yeah, sweet tobacco, and nice little hug, and very, very, very good. I mean,
yeah.
Just
and if you find it, make sure you text Jeff and go na 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 na.
Yeah, exactly, because we got it and he didn't.
You're damn straight I didn't, damn it. I just can't believe it eluded me. I thought for sure. And then it not only eluded me, but then it freaking masked itself. I like go to that store full well thinking it's Charlie's batch, and I end up with the Apprentice batch, which I probably got a better deal.
Do you remember, well, other than the fact we'll find that Apprentice batch, don't worry. But do you remember I called you from North Carolina, and I'm like, hey, I just picked it up, and you're like, oh, it's all right, I'll find it, I'll get it, no problem.
I remember that.
Yeah,
he called me too. I'm like, he told me he only got one bottle. I said, it's got to be released. I mean, how did they just skip over us?
Well, they didn't do it intentionally.
No, not at all. Now, that's the other thing I want to talk about. Is the last thing is that you don't get all the bottles. It's not how it works. Now, I could decide I want it in my collection and have to pay a little bit more, or find somebody out there, anybody out there with an extra bottle, and you want to
don't do it.
It's a tiny.
You're only contributing to the market. And I say don't do it.
Send it to me so I can use it for bait.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's how I met Christy with Open Bees in her raffle. Was she actually, when I had COVID in 2021, was able to get me the batch that I was not able to go out and get because I was in the house thinking that I was going to die. So
she put on a really good raffle and for a very good cause, and that was one of the utmost raffles that I've ever seen,
250 bottles, and she raffled them off. And
be aware whenever you come across raffles and things like that, just be aware and check out when you get involved and things like that is all I got to say.
Well, but with Christy, I had met her, but that's she's getting a lot of flack for, was this real? Is she scamming people? What are you doing? And I had met her and know her and knew she was doing this for a good cause, and she delivered, and she's going to be doing another one. I don't think it's going to be, but it might be 25, 30 bottles. So look for that.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Good cause.
Christy, like I say, she did it, and it was utmost 100% legitimate, and I mean, one of the best ones that I've ever seen. And I'm surprised that I didn't even get into it. But, that's another story. But like I say, if you do be a part of something like that, just check out what you're getting into and just be safe.
Yeah, just make sure the charity is legit, and Open
Yeah.
Beat is a legitimate charity helping people that can't read. So
And
that brings us to tomorrow night's podcast. CT, you want to plug that right quick so that everybody comes in?
So in Ohio, probably haven't seen a lot of Backbone stuff, but I am going to tell you that tomorrow night you'll want to be a part of this podcast. Nolan has got some amazing stuff going on at Backbone. The bottle Jeff has, the bottle I have, we have another one. They are doing some amazing stuff. I did a pick with a group out of Columbus, and we drank from 10 to 12 bottles the barrels that they had brought to do a pick. And I'm not kidding you, at least 90% of them were just like, wow, these all could be just killers. And they are doing some great stuff. I know it's not available right in our backyard, but it's not that far down the road, or it's available online. But yeah, it's going to be a great podcast.
Yep. So look forward to that.
And Nolan has a way cooler voice than I do.
Well,
his accent's awesome.
She doesn't have a nasally, irritating voice.
No, it's not like yours, Jeff.
You have a good voice, CT.
Listen, Blackbeard.
Blackbeard.
So I do have one question. Backbone tomorrow, that's going to be fun. But I do have a question for both of you, because you guys, we were all together when we last went to Jim Beam, if you remember.
Yeah.
And we picked up a bottle. Have either of you drank that bottle?
Hell no.
Lynn, yeah.
Why?
Oh, no. I'm saving that for Fred.
Yeah, good.
I'm saving it.
I cracked mine. I've been drinking it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go get my open bottle off the shelf right now.
He has Backbone, but does he have a broke back version?
No, I hope not.
I don't have a broke back version. I've never even seen that movie.
No, there was no reason to see it, Nash. Only Jeff saw it.
I didn't see that.
I know. He's the only one. He's the only one that made reference. He's the only one that made reference to it.
Only because when I was telling Nash about it, I referred to it instead of Backbone as broke back whiskey. He's like,
yeah, don't do that tomorrow, because that's not gonna work.
That won't work.
That's just like, that would be like turning this into chicken cock.
So back to the lineage. So yeah, one of these. So you're saving yours. I haven't opened mine yet. I haven't found the right thing.
I think mine.
Oh, you guys are waiting for me to send samples of mine up there, right?
No.
We gotta taste all from the same bottle. We can't mix bottles.
Why? What? It came from the same barrel.
It doesn't matter. It's all they're different.
Oh my God.
Wait, I'm trying to think if you can wait. I might have to move this.
There's the problem. You're trying to think.
Look in the corner right there. You can see it. There it is.
So the difference, I'm going to just tell you, mine has an unfair advantage because I have mine sitting on a kayak in the middle of the lake down the road. So it's actually aging in the bottle on a kayak.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. It's the Jim Beam kayak edition. So.
All right, everybody. I think that's
like the
tonight.
The Ocean's Voyage.
Yeah.
But CT style. Rivers. CT river.
Yeah. Excursion. That's going to be my
excursion. New yeah, there you go.
He said a kayak. Oh, that he's got a little thing inside his
excursion,
the pontoon boat, and he just screws off the cap on the end, drops the bottle in, and then screws it back on the pontoon boat. So he's got bottles in there.
Hey, we have to be careful how you say that, because I do not take bourbon on my boat. Okay,
you don't. You put it in the pontoon.
We take moonshine.
You know, Moonshine is not a legally.
That's my real Nash.
Yeah, it's my reel too. I put that reel up.
You're right.
I'm still getting comments on it. That one's probably one of the better ones that I share out. Although Nash
should have shared it out. Maybe I could have got my 10,000th follower.
Oh boy. How many followers do you have now?
Over 5,000. Hey, I'm gaining for 70 days in a row. I am gaining popularity.
Nice.
I think 70 days in a row losing popularity. Although I haven't 500.
Change your beard color. Let's go to red. Do red beard.
Red beard?
He needs to change the color of the beard to red.
No. Oh, yeah.
I don't think it's my beard. What does my beard have to do with other? It's not my videos of me.
Change the game.
Well,
I mean, you're the one that I'm
color your beard red. I will share a video of it.
It's not actually, believe it or not, this is.
And I will drink red breast.
And it's. I'm going back to dark brown opposed to black, so that's why it doesn't look quite as fake.
What is fake?
I mean, it just.
And you heard it here first on the Scotchy Bourbon Boys podcast.
Hey Nash, did you ever have that game when you were a kid? It was like that. It was the board.
All right.
And like you took the magnet.
That's
and you put the mustache.
Yeah, I sure did. And you do, on the little bald head face, and you took the little thing. Yeah. Oh yeah.
ScotchyBourbonBoys.com for all Scotchy Bourbon Boys things.
I will have one. I will
Facebook,
buy
Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and then also all major podcast formats.
Wait till the next podcast.
Spotify,
Amazon,
Apple. Just check us out.
Abort.
Like, listen, leave good feedback and comments, and remember,
your Glencairns.
Have fun. Good bourbon equals good times and good
Bourbon Boys t-shirts, not Bookers.
Make sure that you drink responsibly, don't drink and drive, but live dangerously. Little Steve-O is going to take us out.
Right.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, we must die. I tell you, we must die. I tell you, we must die.
Great. Let me do the audio magic. That was good podcast, guys. I think we had fun. We got to throw a couple of these lighthearted ones in, and then with Booker's is that the Jacob's Well you drinking it? Or is that
that's Pardon's Creek?
What?
I got a little
Jacob's Well. Sorry, you said
you're drinking on the $150 bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
I'll drink it on the low dollar bottle when I got home.
The 70 one?
Yeah. When I was doing paperwork and
that bottle is so good.
That's James B. Beam. That you're drinking, he's drinking on the Jacob's Well, you're drinking on the James B. Beam.
Yep.
Isn't it called Colonel something?
Yeah. Colonel James B. Beam.
Mm-hmm. This
one
is
the 2-year-old. That one's the 4-year-old or 6-year-old?
15.
No.
15. Yeah.
It's a 15.
15. Yeah.
Don't doubt me. No,
but it's delicious.
just, from the standpoint of just the Bookers, I think that went well, but I mean, honestly, that's why we're still Facebook living people. Who is it? Paul says, yeah, Paul said it's a 15. He's been watching the whole time.
Paul's a friend of mine. He lives over here just close to me over in Greenville, South Carolina.
He says that he thinks Booker's a widely underrated juice and definitely great stuff. He says,
I agree.
I don't know if it's underrated. I mean, I don't know how underrated can it be when it just sells out.
I will tell you this, that in my opinion, like for people like the average customer, it's not. But there are a lot of not necessarily podcasters, but different people in the industry that don't give it its credit. And I think that's wrong. I mean, there's a lot of people that are like, oh, this one's not very good. And I was like, how in the world is it not very good?
Well, if you're comparing Bookers to Bookers, you have exceptional and you have the full range. I mean, me and Xavier did I believe that last Booker's podcast that he did with us. We did from the 5 samples you sent up plus all of 2021 and into 2022, and we compared them all as we went about, and
because that was back when you weren't picking it up regularly and seeing it up there in Ohio, and I sent all those samples up.
Yeah, well, the older stuff, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Sent up a crap ton of 2015, 17. I think we had one from 15, 16, 17, and then we had all of them, 2 from 2018 kitchen table and whatever, and then 19, 20, and 21 and 20. It was like we had like 9 Bookers that we rated, and we just threw them all. And I'm telling you,
Paul just said his favorite was the Bardstown batch.
Yeah, they were blind, and it was ridiculous because he started off picking the older ones and I didn't, but then in the middle we kind of like flattened out and picked some of the same ones, and then he had one of the oldest ones, the worst. I mean, it was just bizarre when you do it blind, what they taste like, how you try and do the different things. You know what I'm saying? How you're trying. So yes, there was better ones. Now this one here, now I loved Pigskin when it came out. Not only did I drink the first bottle, but I went out and bought a second bottle. That's what I have. And that's half gone. But it was in that tasting and it didn't do, I think it was in the bottom half, where this is the sweetest. The Apprentice, I was surprised how sweet it is. The brown sugar.
But there's nothing like this right here, this older batch, like that CO first batch that I tasted. The CO1 A18.
But seriously,
this one right here, this one right here, oh my gosh, this is like
the color
brown sugar
on this
brown sugar, butterscotch, and
I just want you to look at the color of this one. It seems to be browner. Usually Booker's is a little redder.
Gosh, that is so dark. You are right.
Well, it's because he's behind it. I can't see.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, that black beard. He's got that black beard behind it.
You can.
Hey, let me get my magnet pen. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Shit.
What?
I'm trying to do a different bottle. It wasn't because it was behind me. It was because it's just brown. I noticed the brownness of it, even in the glass.
But from where we're looking at it, you can only see it behind you. So yeah.
It's not as red as normal. Booker's has usually got that red cherry kind of color.
I'm excited to try it.
The Bardstown batch is Paul's favorite.
But he's also he wasn't fortunate enough to try some good old batches, and that's what I was just fixing to tell him is I can get him some. I'm going to get him some samples.
Oh my God!
Paul was able to hook me up with some cool bottles, and one of them was the cigar batch bottle just recently.
Speaking of that, did you crack that bottle that
yeah.
you just got?
Which one?
The one we picked up in Illinois that you, or is this coming shipped to you?
No, it's coming shipped to me. I hadn't even sent the boxes up yet. I've been so busy this week. I hadn't even had a chance to
do it after you're gonna have to do it after you get married.
Oh, I know. No, no, I'm shipping. No, I want to taste that Starlight cigar batch. I want to taste that before I get married. So yeah, I'm going to be shipping you up a couple of boxes.
I didn't see no cigar batch in there.
Oh yeah, right. See that? I knew that was coming.
Whoops! It got lost in packaging.
Yeah, I
packaged it all up for them.
Nash, when you end up with a bottle of Old Tub, you'll know what happened.
Hey, Nash, Randy liked his present.
What the hell? This looks like Old Tub, Jeff. What the? I didn't buy a bottle of Old Tub.
They come back.
You ain't gonna send me a message back. You can thank Sandy for that.
You bought McKenna 10-year, right? That's it. I'm just gonna mix them up, get drunk, and then pick from anyone. You got some Bernheim in there, right?
Hey, so you said Randy liked his bottle that Nash gave him. Did Randy crack his bottle of Lineage?
You mean Greg? Did Greg?
Or Greg got the.
Oh no!
What Randy get?
Randy got the double oak. Yeah, he loved it.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But we're talking about what I was just implying that I gave Randy what Nash bought him already.
No.
I have not. I won't say what it is. It's going to come from Nash if you're watching. If you're watching there, it's funny because Randy was watching one of the podcasts the other day. I think he was watching one of the quick ones with Carl, our whiskey and Chinese rapid tasting. And he just he's like, the Scotchy Bourbon Boys are just drunk people in their basement.
I'm in my dining room, dude.
Yeah, except you're making your new studio.
I don't know that I'm doing that yet. I haven't made myself want to go downstairs enough to do it.
But you've already started it.
But you know what I am doing?
Is coming up and putting a top on this, so I got more.
Yes, I am getting a barrel and I am filling it, and I'm going to have my own thieving barrel for drinks in my bourbon room.
Oh yeah,
it's happening.
What are you filling it with?
I can't tell you because it's one of my favorite inexpensive bourbons, and it is going to be delicious.
You're going to fill it with 53 gallons.
Yep.
Yeah, so
gallons is 53.
So CT,
out of inexpensive.
Next time I come up,
in there,
I want to make it a point that I come to Columbus to your house.
Right? Yep, you got to come by.
Yeah,
hey, I'm just ready to do it. I lost a bet.
Are you doing that, Nash? What are you gonna? Oh, it's gonna be like your wedding. You're just gonna do it. Tell me there, and then just tell me.
No, well,
it's the honeymoon.
Yeah, look, we're into concerts, and you're not. So that's exactly what. Yeah, and
Nash, I might have some tickets to a concert you might be interested in.
Oh, you can just.
I know you do. I know you do.
Do you like Def Leppard?
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
Def Leppard and Motley Crue.
I saw them back when he had his arm.
Oh.
And, yeah. So
you did not.
Yeah.
His arm. It's like Hot Tub Time Machine. where he
Yeah.
kept, like he didn't have an arm. They're like expecting him to keep losing his arm every single time. You knew him before the machine the chainsaw went flying.
Before
his arm
yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Hot Tub Time Machine, the time chainsaw. Okay.
Yep.
I get the reference.
That's good. All right, everybody. Tonight's been fun, that's for sure. But we got to do it again tomorrow night, and I got to get up and load this and get it running. And so,
good night, everybody.
I'm gonna stop.
Good night, everybody.
For YouTube.
Oh, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I tell you we must die. I tell you we must die. I tell you, I tell you, I tell you we must die.
Hey, Scotchy Bourbon Boys fans, this is Alan Bishop, Indiana's alchemist of the Black Forest. So I'm tuning in here today to tell you all about the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute channel on YouTube. If you're at all interested in the art of distilling, whether it be home distilling or professional distilling, and the intense geekery that goes into that process, then check out the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute on YouTube. I promise you're going to learn something you didn't know before about the arts.